Hey, all you Shift Talkers. Colleen Sweets here with the Shift Talkers podcast. I am so excited. This is episode 11. I'm here with Miss Jackie and her BF Shawn and my BF, best friend, not boyfriend,
No.
Desiree. I'm really excited about this episode because I have been just laughing about this one post that is on a Facebook page. Facebook page is called Extra Ranch. And Jackie is the one who turned me on to this Facebook page. I've just been cracking up ever since. But one post that somebody did, I'll read it to you guys. It says, let's see here. It says, what's some of the stupidest shit you've said at a table which makes you go, why did I just say that? Like when I did finger guns. And I thought of Jackie because Jackie likes to do, we don't call it finger guns, we call it finger bang and the click click. So I thought Jackie would be a perfect guest for this episode. So Jackie, you have been on the podcast before, but we didn't post anything because
I'm too loud and vulgar.
Not that. We were just too excited and, it got a little chaotic. But I would love to know how the finger bang came about, if you remember.
No, I definitely do. Because someone had to call me out on it. I didn't know I was doing it. Someone was like, please stop doing that. And I was like, oh shit, I'm doing that. But no, I had been working in Hawaii for a while. And I went back to one of my first bar jobs, but I wasn't a bartender when I had left that bar job. So I was in Georgia working a bar back cocktail type situation, and then I went to Hawaii, didn't work for a while, and then got back into the industry, and I was a cocktail waitress, bar back, and then I kind of started to dabble into bartending. And then so I took this job at this dive bar martini lounge where I was pretty much expected to know my shit, and I just really wasn't sure. So I was really nervous, and my boyfriend was sitting at the other side of the bar, and it was my first night back, and it's like, you want a margarita? All right. Bang, bang. You know what I mean? And it was people, I didn't stop doing it. So the people who are next to the person who I just did it to are watching me do it over and over again. And to the point where my boyfriend's like, please, you got to stop doing that. I'm like, doing what? What am I doing? But yeah, we laughed about that for a long time. And even now I've changed. I try not to finger bang, guys. I try not to finger bang at work, but I do, I shaka.
Shaka.
Pull out the shaka.
So this episode is really fun because this Facebook page, like I said, called Extra Ranch, has this post on there. Basically, what are the stupidest things that you've said, or what are the brainless things that you've said to your table just without even thinking about it? It just comes out of your mouth. And we've got a few different ones that are really, really funny and by accident. We don't say these things on purpose. And a lot of times we hear a customer say something that we're like, what the hell did you just say? And, it's not what they said at all. But we hear that and we're like,
or the customer hears something that you didn't just say.
Right.
That just happened to me the other day, actually.
What happened? Tell us.
I was serving a guest at my bar, not at my bar because we're still shut down. So I had to do the table in front of the bar because that makes a difference.
Of
whatever.
Course. New Mexico, you cannot sit at bars still.
We will leave that alone. But
yeah, that's a whole different podcast.
There were these two ladies. One was drinking a Jack and Coke, and the other one was drinking an El Nino margarita. And they're having a good time. They were really low maintenance, and I just kept checking on them. And then I said, oh, okay, cool. And she's like, did you just say no, bitch? And I was like, no. Why would I say that? And she starts laughing, and I start laughing. I would not say that to you. Maybe someone else, not to you. It was funny. It wasn't luckily, nothing bad came of it or anything.
I was on the phone with some lady the other day, and I asked her, what kind of toast do you want? And she goes, excuse me? And I said, what kind of toast do you want? And she goes, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said, what kind of drugs do you want? And I'm like, oh my God.
I would only ask the kitchens in the back.
Exactly. It happens really, really often, a lot more often than we think. And the post that was on Extra Ranch was really cool because the comments on there are hilarious. And so I want to talk about some of the ones I've encountered and some of the ones that my friends have told me since I started talking about it. And then maybe we can read some of the ones that are on Extra Ranch.
Right.
Do you have any ones, Desi, that you can think of offhand?
No, not when I was serving. Lately, it's because I'm in toddler life, so it's a slip up. I was like,
Right.
does your tummy hurt? I mean, it's like a 55-year-old man.
I gotta go
But
potty.
I was listening to this this other radio host in the mornings. I listened to on my way to work, and she said this server, and she was been a server at, I don't know, it's just some restaurant in New York, and she said, "Hey, how you guys doing, guys?"
Right.
And that table flipped the fuck out on her. She was like, "We are
I
not
say that all
guys."
the time.
I know.
Yeah.
I say y'all, guys, sweetie, honey, honey bun.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I go extra. So she was like in the table, and she almost lost her job, but she like stood up for herself. But that just rung in my head, and her was just being natural for sure, and just being, hey,
Right.
not
Right.
even thinking. And they took
know
it
I'm
to,
in a
and I was
baseball
like,
hat.
oh my god, I would fuck up. I would fuck up.
Yeah.
I'd fuck up. I'd be fired.
I've been in trouble for that.
Really, you guys?
But yeah, I used to work at. So
what do you say?
I worked at Red Lobster as a host, and then I
Red
was
Lobster.
like, "Hey guys, how you doing?" And my manager
Hey
ripped me
guys,
a
how
new
you-
one in front of
Oh,
everybody.
the
He was like,
manager.
"They are not guys; they are folks at the most." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
She had no
And-
intentions either, bad, and I'm
Yeah.
sure you either.
Oh,
like,
of
had
course
no,
not. Of
I'm going
course
to call
not.
these ladies guys.
It was
Well-
it was just like a slip. You say
Yeah,
it, it's just a
but-
casual thing.
Yeah.
God.
I've literally called
I
men
love it.
ma'ams.
Oh yeah, and that's
My general manager sachets everywhere. I call him a female all the time on accident too. It's not on purpose. I'm not
Yeah.
being facetious. Like
Yeah.
And then people will be like, okay, whatever, and you're like, all right, thanks guys.
Yeah.
Or like, all right, or I'll be like, thanks, ma'am.
But they put it was all over the fucking news. and I'm
Actually-
like,
No.
Oh,
for
wow.
guys, like
Jackie,
this is
Wow.
scary.
you were called
Yeah.
a sir just the other day.
It happens a lot. It's my beautiful deep voice.
Sir,
It is a really beautiful, deep voice, too.
I like it.
It is definitely not masculine, but it is deep and
When I want it to
full.
be, it can be.
Guys.
Yes, Jackie's not one to fuck around. Don't fuck with Jackie because she's going to fuck with you back, and that deep voice is going to come out, and you are not going to take advantage of her.
I get you, the word intimidating gets thrown around a lot. I'm like, I just said your hair looked nice. Or whatever. My bad.
Do you have any instances where you said the wrong things?
Yeah. Well, there's a few times that I'm guilty of saying, "Okay, let's get it going" or something like that.
Let's get it.
Let's
after
do
they tell me something that they want, I'm like, "All right, let's get it going." And I feel so awkward because they look at me so weird. They're like, "Let's get it going."
What do I need to do?
What are we
Do I need
doing?
to stand up for this?
Am I going back
That's
there with
funny.
you?
Am I going back there with
That's
you?
that's interesting because I totally understand. I'm like, all right,
Right.
let's get it going.
All right,
Or I'm
let's
gonna-
do it.
I'm going to go to the computer and
Well, that
punch
makes
in your
sense
food.
in our
and-
head.
Right.
Yeah, we're like,
Yeah.
okay, another one
As
down. Like
servers.
that
Yes.
makes sense.
All
But
right.
they are looking at you like,
Let's go.
what?
Before we go on to other stories about the stupid and brainless shit we say to our tables.
When you're 8 tables deep. Just,
It was a long shift, and it was like towards the end of my shift, and I asked these people, here in New Mexico, everything is red or green chili. Like, if you're a server here, even a bartender, red or green chili, would you like red or green chili with that? It's a question that we always ask. And so it was the end of my shift. I was exhausted, and I asked this couple, would you like some red or green children with that? And they just looked at me, and they're like,
None.
neither. And I was like, wait, did I just say children? So
I promise we don't cook children, guys. I'm so
That's
sorry.
exactly. Like,
We don't serve that.
how did you get into the industry? And how old were you? And what brought you there? And how long have you been there? I know it's a lot of questions all at once, but tell us your
that's okay.
story.
So I was 20 whenever I became a host at my job at Red Lobster. And then I had a brief period where I became a truck driver instead. I turned 21, I can drive trucks, and I started to do that. And then I decided to go to school, and, all college kids, they become servers. So I became a busboy, and I worked my way up to server. And then I think I was about 24, 25 at that time. And then I've just been serving ever since.
Yeah.
So
So what what
lying.
kept you there?
He went off to Guam and did not serve in Guam. He did a lot of other things. He's only
In between.
I came back and then became a server.
right.
I wouldn't be
So-
a server in Guam either if I was going.
Yeah,
I would have a
wanna
million other choices
serve
before
live
serving in
food.
Guam.
The food's
Well,
like
it's-
more alive than
I'll
half your
flip-
guests.
nope.
I don't
Right.
think so.
I'll pick
Well,
up
it's
a new one.
interesting because
Live food. Yeah.
I mean, you came back, so you
Right.
you had a lot of experience in other options that you could have gone to and went to, but what made you go back to the serving?
Well, like I said, I'd gone back to college and I was studying to be a pilot actually. And I don't know if you know this, but being a pilot is very expensive. It's like your tuition times 2. It's so expensive
Because
so,
of the special school, pretty much.
Well, you got to pay for the flight lessons when they're
Right.
like $200 an hour,
Wow.
and you got to pay that out of pocket.
Wow.
And so you can't get any loans for that.
So you
or
got to be
anything.
rich to be a
Yeah,
pilot.
you
That
gotta
is
be rich.
fucked up.
Or
It's
make
Right.
cash money.
Right,
or
right,
That's
right.
fucked up.
It is
So
fucked up.
I had a friend who was serving at this like high-end restaurant. He was making like $300 a night, and he's like,
Right.
"Hey, why don't you come do this?" And so I that's how I got into it.
and
That
and,
makes me
you- and
mad,
you liked
though.
it. I mean, you just.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was.
do you how do you feel about it? Do you like serving in the restaurants?
I do. I think I found a new. Oh, Jackie's giving me the look.
I know it's so cute.
Yeah.
It is.
I-
And he stopped.
I found where I was supposed to be because I really do like hospitality and I like taking care of people. So
Yeah.
it's really where I belong, and so I just stuck with it ever since.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
He's thinking about going into management, actually.
Yeah,
That's
Right
actually
on.
going to be probably his next move.
yeah. That's
Cool,
my next
cool.
move is going.
I
into
want him to do
management.
it so I could see how it goes for him, and then me.
Jackie, let's hear your story. And I've heard it a couple of times, but we've never posted you on the podcast.
She's like, we might air this one.
Third time's a charm, babe. So, tell us how you got into the biz.
Okay, so my first opportunity into the biz was when I was 22, and I was living in Georgia because I was a military wife. My husband and I had just moved from Hawaii for the first time because we did that a couple times. And before that, I was a scenic artist in San Diego, so it was like a huge transition. And I had been frequenting a bar in Georgia. Loved that place. It's not open anymore, unfortunately. But my favorite bartenders from said bar were opening up their own place, and cha-ching, it's only 2 doors down.
Nice.
So I'm like right there, like, oh, you need help building your deck? You want help painting your deck? Like, what's up? Like, let's redo this place. And so I was a part of all that. When we opened up, they allowed me to be a cocktail waitress, knowing I had no experience, you know. And she liked to drink. They're like, let's just keep her on this side of the bar for now. And so I ended up opening up this bar with these guys. I really had no idea what I was doing. I lived in this like townhome with my ex-husband, and I took trays home, and I'd fill my pint glasses up that I had in my cabinets with water and practice going up and down the stairs, and like my dog's like running around my feet. I'm like, this is
Perfect.
Good.
Yeah.
This is good. This is good.
Great distraction.
This is
Pretend it's a
great,
kid.
you know?
Pretend it's a kid.
Exactly. And then my first night that we opened up, after I'd been training for like a week, but we hadn't had like a real opening, like you can only imagine my anxiety. We were like 3 times past capacity. Like it was bananas. I did like $2,000 in sales and just alcohol alone.
Holy shit.
We didn't have food.
Wow.
And I'm like, whoa! Like I have my tray over my shoulder, just like, move out of my way, you know. And I kind of just got like such a rush off of that one night. And then my managers were like, dude, like, what did you just do? I'm like, was that good? Is this good?
Did I make it?
$2,000? Is that a lot of money in alcohol? I don't know. And yeah, they loved it. I ended up going back, worked there for a long time, ended up running that bar, all different instances. I was a military wife, so I moved away and came back, and every time I came back, I had a new opportunity or job waiting for me in the industry.
Yeah.
Well, once you do one thing, it's pretty much you're like everybody can.
And that's the same bar that like I moved back
Right.
to Hawaii again, not knowing how to really bartend because I'd only cocktailed at
Right,
Bar West.
right.
It's Bar West. If you guys, it's a badass place. You should go
Bar
check it out.
West.
It's in Augusta, Georgia. Anyways, but like I went back and forth, so I never really learned how to bartend per se. Like I did a lot.
Right.
I learned a lot from bar backing and a little bit of well bartending.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to like do
Yeah.
customers and. You know what I mean?
Right, yes.
It was like really stressful. So that's where like the anxious gun click comes
What
from.
do I do with my
'Cause I'm like, okay! You know, like I was like so nervous. It was so stupid. But yeah, and then I ended up managing that bar, and now I work at Chili's and run circles around the rest of the bartenders that work there.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
Sean.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just kidding.
There's a lot of different kind of servers. There's the servers that are just totally head first into the game, and then there's other servers like me who I'm just like, I'm coming here to hang out with some peeps, and I'm gonna get paid for it. I'm gonna hang out with my friends, and I'm gonna pretend all my tables are my friends. This is my social hour, and most of the time it was for me because I had 4 kids. I was a single mother of 4 kids growing up, so I would go to work to have a social hour and to relax and hang out. And I'm like, this is perfect. I'm hanging out and getting paid for it, and it's my social hour.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
I was a bored military wife. Get me out of this freaking house.
Right.
Like, my husband works like 60-hour weeks. He's off at training all the time. Like, get me out of here. So now, 4 nights a week, I'm going to this happening bar and slanging drinks. Not bartending, but I'm cocktailing.
But it's
and
perfect to get out. Yeah.
Got to wear all my cute little outfits back when I did that.
Yeah. Right.
Now I buy boys t-shirts and I'm like, look at my cute new shirt.
I'm in a hand-me-down,
Dope,
so
though.
It's sublime. It's
dope.
so dope. We're gonna post that picture on our
shirt.
page.
Dope shirt.
Hey, what did you say? Let's get it going. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah, with her finger bangs.
The lighting's terrible.
Excellent. All right. Jackie. I was gonna say Jacqueline, and I'm like, wait.
I guess that's technically my name.
Yeah.
it is, but only when she's in trouble.
That's right.
Oh, that's your full name,
Only-
Jackie.
She'll fight
Mine's
you if you
Desiree.
only
use
when
it.
she's in trouble.
Only the police
Right.
and judges call me that.
So
What's she gonna say?
I wanted to thank you for turning me on to that Facebook page called Extra Ranch.
I've been thinking about it for a while. I wish I would have invited you sooner. But because I'm like, dude, this would give such great content.
It
Right,
does.
ideas.
Well, I've actually been trolling other server pages. There's one called Server Life. There's
They're
another
not
one
as
called
entertaining, I don't think,
Unity of Bartenders and
I haven't seen
Servers.
that one.
There's that one. They're actually a little bit more professional and a lot less.
Dude, Extra
But-
Ranch, dude, you go on there and you have anything to say.
Oh, yeah.
I like it when they go in and they complain about their experience at a restaurant, even though they're a server. Like, can you believe homegirl didn't bring me a lemon with my water when I asked for a lemon? And it's like, bro, you work in the industry. Like, how are you gonna
Seriously.
Cut 'em some
yeah.
slack.
and then to
here.
post it?
Yeah.
Exactly. I know.
Are you took the time to post it? Like, what is wrong with you?
I am so fucking critical. Like, I'm
too.
the worst person to
I am,
take
and
out
I've been
on a
out of the
date to
industry
restaurant.
for
I
6-7
am
years.
too.
I haven't worked in the industry
if
in
I
7
see
years,
someone,
and I'm still. My dad looks at me. He's like, "What do we pay? What do we tip?" Like he's like,
Yeah.
"I know you've been watching this whole time," and he's paying, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, it would be." And he's like, "Yeah, that water."
I've been in
You know, like he's like, so. I'm like,
I've been
"Do
to
this,
Cheddar's,
Dad."
and I used to do this thing where I'd take my whole family for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
I would buy them all $25 gift cards, and be like, go ham.
Right.
Christmas gift done. And
Right.
we're all together. This is obviously pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
our server was trying. I know how it is when you got 12 people. It's not that big, but it's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're pretty easy. We drink a lot though, so you got to keep those drinks coming. But the bartender, dude, it took us an hour to get sat, and I was watching this chick, and I'm like, poor thing, her bar is set up so screwed up.
Really?
She was just marching back and forth when she shouldn't have had to be. Why is your salt on the other side of the bar, but your margarita shit's over here?
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And it
Yeah,
takes
yeah.
time when you're
Dude,
busy.
yeah.
Like,
And then,
you
she's
don't
got
realize how
other people in her way
yeah.
crossing behind her.
hell no.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
it was
was
5 extra steps.
I
yeah,
was compelled.
But that for 7 hours of a
Isn't
dinner
that,
rush.
Isn't that interesting that when you are a server and you're learning, years later you're thinking, how do I subtract steps. Like, how do I go from here
Oh, yeah.
to here in 5 steps, but how do I do it in 3 steps?
Yeah.
Like, what
Yeah.
can I subtract from this that I'm not getting? And there's so many different ways. It's a collective mind.
So one day I walk into my bar and we had decided to like rearrange everything, and I was like, "Why on
Damn
earth?
you.
Why on earth did you do this?" This is our general manager, right? And I'm not afraid to say this because we've had this conversation to face, right? We did this already. But like he put my wines like on the other side of like the liquor display
Why?
because it looked prettier,
No.
and I was like, every step means something when you're back here.
Yes.
And he was like, "Well, I've never bartended." I'm like, "I know," and that's why
Yeah.
It shows.
I feel compelled to explain this to you. And
Right.
like, there's so many changes that have happened in that bar just since I've started, you know.
I believe it. I believe
And
it.
like, we would just be like, "This is nice. This looks pretty." Ooh, ooh, ooh. And I'm like, "No, like, you put a display."
It looks pretty, but it's not efficient.
Add
It's
an
not
extra display.
functional.
Right.
And honestly,
Yes.
there should be another wine display on the other side. There should be.
There should, just to display what wines we do have.
Yeah, there should be. We should
Right.
actually implement that like tomorrow.
Oh, we just
You
made
know,
it,
all
we just
those-
made a new idea for Chili's.
Excellent. All those visual effects are literally really, really important for the restaurant. I mean, you know, you think it's all about the food. It has nothing to do with the food. The food can be a shitty, like your food can suck, but if your atmosphere and your server and the whole experience is good, the food should matter, yes, because that's what you're actually paying for, but you're paying for a lot more than that. You're paying for an atmosphere. You're paying for an experience.
Well, like in Georgia, you have
Right.
a lot of bars that are just bars.
Yeah.
How many bars out here can you think of that don't serve food?
I can't think of
doesn't-
one.
it doesn't exist.
offhand. No, not anymore.
Not anymore. So like in Georgia, like you can have bars that they're just bars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
In St. Louis, we have a bar called iTap. They have like 30 plus beers on tap, but they don't serve food
Right.
at all.
so like I think the only like stipulation is you can't be open on like Sundays. At least that's how it is in Georgia, unless you have 50% of your sales are food. So
Right,
with
right.
that being said, like you have a big market for not just take food out of it.
Right.
Everybody has liquor. Everybody has the same amount of liquor. So
Yeah.
now it's based on strictly environment and those bartenders.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
it.
You know, I love Facebook for the simple fact that there's so much bullshit on it, but there's so much really cool shit on it that you're like, hell yeah, I never thought about that, especially on the server Facebook pages and things like that. I read that shit and I'm like, I'm stealing that because that's real. I mean, it's like true and people don't get it. Like, what's your real job? This is my fucking real job, bro. This is my profession and I'm good at it.
Right.
I make money at it and I'm good at it.
It also-
Like, this is what I do.
It helps you acquire skills that I don't know how many other jobs are going to do. We have to multitask.
Oh, yeah.
We have to have patience. We
Oh,
have
yeah.
to smile when we don't want to smile.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dude,
Yes.
like your dog could have died that morning. Your table doesn't care.
You know what? If my
Right.
dog died, I ain't going
wouldn't
to
go to
work.
work. I wouldn't go to
I'm
work either.
calling in.
True.
My
No
dog
way.
died.
True.
I'm
I wouldn't either.
upset. No.
I wouldn't either.
But I understand what you're
Like,
saying. I
yeah, everybody
understand what
goes
you
through
mean.
their own
Yes.
shit.
You have to walk in that door and leave everything about your life and the shit that you're going through outside that door. You cannot bring it in there with you because people feel that shit.
How many
They
people have you
feel
worked
it.
with that can't
And they
do
can
that?
they can tell when it's
Oh,
on your face too.
Exactly, they can. And that is one thing that I kind of pride myself on. And if I don't want to be there, I'll try. And if things don't kind of change around, because they usually do, and I'll be like, okay, I'm fine. Like
Even
well,
me
whatever.
yesterday, I had a super off day. I had
Yeah,
a super off
that
day.
happens.
Wasn't really feeling all that great. I
happens.
felt fatigued. My body ached. Whatever. Did I do it to myself? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. But like I was supposed to work a double. My team appreciates me enough. They're like, she's tired. Like, we're just gonna. And they didn't make me come back for my double. They ended up working it without me.
Nice,
Which
nice.
was super rad. It was
Yeah.
super rad.
It was
And
you.
that-
It was you and me in the morning, and
Tyler in the
Yeah.
evening. Tyler can handle it. So
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
good.
we
That's
picked it up.
that's important too, to have that. I mean, to work at a place where it's like family. You know,
Yeah.
you care about each other.
Well,
you,
like
Yeah.
you
me-
depend on each other, and you
Well,
really care about each
literally
other.
family. Like half the
Literally,
people in that
yeah.
restaurant are going to be
We spend more time with each other than we
Our
spend with
family.
our family.
Yes.
But then, so my best
We all
friend and
work
then
with each other.
Sean, we all work to each other. So it's like we're all in the same room at the same time. Like, wait, somebody check the schedule. One of us is supposed to be at work.
Right.
Which
Who's
one of
supposed
us
to be
has
working right
to
now?
go?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I wanted to share a story about my sister. She's been a server for many, many years, like me and like some of us here. But she went up to a table, going back to our original topic of the stupid shit we say to our tables. So my sister goes up to her table after she refilled their drinks with Coca-Cola many, many times and goes back to their table and she's like, "So are you guys all coked out?"
Shut up! I can't believe I've never heard this story.
She did. I didn't either until I decided to do this episode. And I was
At
telling her
Le
about it
Peep?
at Le Peep.
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
And I know.
the worst crowd to do it in front
Are you
of.
guys all coked out? Because they had like a
like
ton of
12:30 in
Coca-Cola.
the afternoon.
So that shit happens a lot where we just say stupid things like
good.
where somebody says, "Thank you," and you say,
Have a-
"You too."
Right, yeah, I did that today at
You
the
know?
gas station. All stupid.
Yeah, it happens all the time. So
But I get mad. I'm like, I wasn't really listening. Am I that big of a bitch?
well,
you
no,
know?
it's not. I mean, no. I mean, I guess. I mean, it depends on how you're feeling that day.
That
But
day, I feel like I do it all the time. Like, I ain't got time. Like, thank you, bye. Like, I don't know. It's not that I'm intentionally being rude. I just wasn't paying attention.
oh,
Yeah.
well, that's interesting, Dad.
I
That's
know.
interesting.
Oh.
We'll dwell on that for a little bit later. But Sean, do you have any things that you've said to tables that you're just like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I said that"?
There's probably so many that I can't even think about. And it's not even that I recognize it. It's mostly people around me that recognize it. Because I'll just say stuff and then I'll just walk away. But then I'll have other servers come up to me and be like, "Why did you say it like that?" "What do you mean?" "Well, you said, 'Kay, thanks, bye, I love you,' or something like that." And I'm just, I don't remember. I don't know why I said it like that. But you could tell when you go back to the table, they're giving you a funny look. It's like they'll look like, "Who are you?
Why did you say
Why
that?
did you say that?"
Yeah. Huh.
So I'll get that a lot, and I don't even recognize it because like I speed walk everywhere, and like I'm just going crazy. I'm trying to help out as best I can, and so when I come back, people are just like, they're giving me a look like, "Dude, are you okay?"
Huh.
Yeah. So
You know-
I don't even recognize it that many times, but I do say things that I don't even know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the guests, they're so polite most of the time. They don't even tell me what I said.
Right.
And
Right.
I can tell you that Jackie would probably tell me a lot more things that I've said. I'm so silly. I'm so silly with my tables, like I can't even remember. I'm
You
just
know-
like, "What's up? How's it going?"
Well, I get what you're saying. Like, you, like, in the
Me
moment,
too.
you're like, I'm
Right.
just
You're
gonna,
in the-
not
yeah.
that you're spitting shit off
Like, I
your
can-
head, like, I have to poop after this, but you're like,
Oh, yeah.
you are still, like, in the moment, and you're so quick that
Like-
she heard it, and you're like, you just
Like,
said
so sorry
some
that
dumb
took me
shit.
so long. I was in the bathroom.
Right,
And,
and-
they're like, "I've been here for 30 minutes. Like,
Nah, I say some messed up things to people, but I do it on purpose.
and most of the time, like, Jackie, she's done finger guns, but here lately,
And the click click.
It's a really hard
here
habit to
lately,
break.
she's been dropping off chips and salsa, going. "Bow, bow, 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 bow."
You don't do it right. It's
I don't. I don't do it justice.
And Sean's
I love it.
over it.
So Christy Cricket, Miss Cricket, her sister is in town visiting from Pennsylvania, and so she's not here with us this evening, or else she would be. But I had asked her to send a story, if she had one, about saying stupid shit at our tables that we didn't mean to say. She had sent me this story, so I want to relay it to you guys. Basically, she was working up in Hamus, and it wasn't her, but it was one of her friends, and she walked up to this table, and she was like, how you all doing, fucks?"
Oh no.
She meant to say folks, but it came out fucks.
Oh, no.
How y'all doing, fucks? and then freaked out and decided to
run.
weighed her options and was, what do I do now? And so she ended up the whole rest of the table, she pretended she had this like kind of Southern Scottish accent.
No.
The whole rest of the table.
No way.
Oh no.
Because she didn't want him to know that she said fucks instead of folks. Yeah. I thought that was the most hilarious thing. I'm like, she had to keep up this persona of her accent. I thought that was really cool. It reminded me of a story that this one woman who was training us in a healthcare profession, blah, blah, blah. She had a Boston accent. She says, fuck.
So it sounds like a long
It
fuck.
sounds like
Yeah.
fuck, kind of.
Yeah.
Can I have a fuck with my salad? You know, like something like that. Hey, we're going to go potty. Like, I want to fuck.
Right.
Like, their R's are like ah instead of R. So she was in Colorado and she was going through the drive-thru and this boy was like 17 years old and she got a salad and there was no fork in her bag and she's like, can I have a fork? And he's like, excuse me? And she's like, a fork. I need a fork. I can't eat the salad without a fork. And he's like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, I don't understand. I need a fork. And her daughter, you know, realized what was happening. She goes, Mom, he thinks you're saying fuck. He doesn't understand that you're saying fork. And
know.
she was just mortified. You know, she looked at the 17-year-old kid and she was, you know, 50 something. And looking at this 17-year-old kid and realizing that she's saying, I need a fuck to him, and looks at him and he's just terrified.
Like, I don't know how to help you.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what to do.
There might be someone else around here that's more willing and able, but not me.
Poor thing.
Oh,
but
no.
but it happens actually really, really often in a restaurant, especially in a busy restaurant that's like really loud. I want to say, and then I want you guys to talk, because I had wrote down some things that I remember people saying, and I asked, what do you want to drink? And I heard him say something about medical mice. Like he works
I don't know how to make that.
He works on medical mice. And I was like,
Taxidermy?
what?
How does that relate to a drink?
What did you say? And he said something with extra ice. And I was like, oh my God. You don't even know what I thought you just said. Like, I was about to fucking kick you out,
I'd be like,
kick
that
your ass
sounds
out of here.
interesting.
Like, you know?
What's in that? I want to know. I mean, I've got some weird names for drinks out there. I would have been like, let's roll with it. What's in
Right,
it?
that-
Medical mice?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before. And then he'd look at me like I was retarded. And then we'd go on and
Yeah.
I'd
That's
figure it
kind of
out.
how it happened.
It's hilarious.
There was another time where I heard another server say to this table, you're a fox. And I was like, I like whipped my head around because she was, you know, she was not that kind of server. What did you just say to that table? You're a fox. And I looked at her and I realized she said, would you like a box? And so there's all these things, you know, it happens all the time. So what do you guys have that pertains to stuff like that?
I do remember you were saying something about the drinks, and that reminded me of a story. There was a group of 6 people. They're all business people, and they were in there, and they were in like it was a lunch meeting. And there's this guy who was drinking a Coke Zero, and I'd come up, and his drink was empty, and I was like, "Would you like another Zero?" And they all looked at me, and they're just like, "A what?" I'm like, "Oh, a Coke Zero." Like, don't. They were like, "What do you mean a zero?"
No, you should
And it
tell.
was just-
You should tell that story because, like she said about the fuck thing. You're the guy who needed space
Which guy?
when you worked at El Monterey, and you're like, I need my spice.
Oh my gosh. My manager, at the end of the night, he would be putting in all the tips for all the credit card receipts. And then all the servers, of course, they're going to come up and be like, what am I going to get paid at the end of the night? What are my tips? And so he'd always shoo us away and be like, I need my spice. And that's how he would say,
I like
my
space.
space. Yeah, because he's from Mexico, and he's like, I need my spice.
I knew my
And
spice.
he would shoo us away with like a little hand flick as he was holding all his credit card receipts. It's like, I need my spice. We made fun of him for it so much.
My spice, where's it at? I need it.
It was fantastic.
You know,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that Mexican accent, though. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
And working in the kitchen and stuff, you deal with a lot of Hispanics. Like,
Yeah.
that can get tricky too. That can get real tricky.
It
that-
can, yes.
In that
I'm
restaurant.
Like, what did you say to me?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
In that restaurant, the cooks were pretty foul. Like the language they were saying in Spanish was
Didn't they always used
not
to call
what
you
you
a
want
gay boy
guests to see.
every
Yeah.
day? Every day they called you a gay boy?
every day they'd call me gay. I worked there for over a year. They're like, "Hey, boy, you gonna go out there and get some boys out there? You like that?" And they just mess with me every time I come back in the kitchen. Every time. And it wasn't like every now and again. It was every time. Because I was like the only white guy that worked there. Right? And I didn't speak Spanish at all. The only Spanish I know is from learning dirty Spanish.
Oh, yeah,
right.
dirty.
I know all the bad
Kitchen.
words.
Food,
Yeah.
Right.
bathroom, safety. So I'm like, I would make
Platos.
it, right? I would
Yeah.
make it in Mexico.
Como
Food-
se dice?
Yeah.
The only
you know,
Spanish word
baño,
I knew
cool-
going into that restaurant, or the two, was queso and guacamole. That's it.
It's just it's not really, it's just a word.
And even when I would say, yeah,
Spanish word is just
well,
a
the only,
word.
and then
That shit is fucking...
the cooks would even give me shit about that.
Universal.
I would
Wait,
say I need
so
guacamole,
burrito isn't-
and they would say no,
isn't
it's guacamole.
origin-
I
I'm
speak
like,
Spanish,
okay,
nachos, burrito, guacamole.
you know what I mean.
I used to work with this girl who
Carne
used to
asada.
say, I need a side of Verdi.
Oh,
And they're like, what the fuck?
We don't
Verdi.
sell birdies
I
around
need some
here.
Verdi.
Verdi
It's
sauce.
Verde. It's green chili sauce for all you non-New Mexicans. But
Uncultured.
what's some of the stupidest shit you've said at a table which makes you go, why did I just say that? I had a B-day one time for an older lady and asked how many and replied, wow, that's a lot. I wanted to die. Yesterday, I set a table's drinks down and said, y'all have a great day. She didn't take their order, I'm guessing. That's what
Right, at
kinda
the very
happened.
beginning.
I like
Right.
to run off before
She
the
just
kids can
walked
order.
out.
I'm like drinks, appetizers, food, run off. I'm like, oh, the child. I do
Right.
that way too often. Way too often.
Oh, this one's funny. Okay. This one has happened to, if you've been in the restaurant industry for more than 5-6 years, this has happened to you. I'm almost guaranteeing it. So when you cut off a pregnant woman for having too many drinks, but it turns out she was just fat. I'm sorry, I won't serve you. You're pregnant.
I've actually never
No,
done
I'm
that.
not. You know what?
I've judged the shit out of you.
Have you had it done to you?
Wait, you had a pregnant lady order an alcoholic drink?
So when I worked at this bar that didn't serve food, right? This chick used to come in and order like Lagavulin, like she's getting drunk on scotch, and I know her. I know she's
And
pregnant. Like we ain't friends, but like I know who your baby daddy is supposed to be and who it is, and like all this. Like I know everything, right? Because I've been your
right.
bartender forever.
Bartenders know
I know everything.
the scoops. Yeah.
I still know everything. And like people call me like, "Oh my god, you hear about this person?" Like, spill it.
Let me hear what you know.
Miller Lite Jaeger bombs? Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I know.
Right?
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. I used to be that person. I don't even know how I'm alive to talk about this right now. But no, dude, she would get like, if it wasn't that, I make a really awesome dirty martini, right? So like, if it wasn't that, she wanted like a dirty martini, and I'm over here like, bro, like you are, and baby turned out fine, thank God.
Right.
You know, I know that because I'm the bartender. Still, I haven't worked there in a long time. But yeah, baby was fine, and then she's still up turning up. But like, I'll be honest with you, the last time I was there, I was a patron. I didn't work there. I did not talk to her. I really didn't. I'm like, I did not talk to her.
You know,
at all.
those are really hard situations.
I asked my
to-
boss,
to
"Can I
be
not
in.
serve
They
her?"
really are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked, "Can I not serve her? Like, what do I have to do to not serve her?" He's like, "You can't. You have to serve her because it's like
But doesn't there sign
discrimination."
Right.
But
You know
then
what, though,
again,
Jackie?
isn't there
There's-
signs
there's-
saying
Yeah, but
you
that's-
have the right to not serve.
Yes.
But it's because
It's
of
on my cigarettes too, and I still smoke them.
Yes. You know what,
Right.
though?
It's a warning.
yeah.
You know
Some
what,
states
though?
have different laws on that.
Right. I don't know. I don't know.
You know what? I think that if you have a moral, ethical code, if you don't want to serve a pregnant woman, then you shouldn't have to. Just because of your moral codes
would
and
rather-
your values,
I'd
like
rather not.
you should be able to go to your manager and
I'll
say,
give you a Sprite with a
I'm
lime.
not serving this woman. She's pregnant and she's ordering
He
alcohol,
told
and
me-
I'm not
Right.
doing it. I'm
told
not going to
me-
be a part of it. I mean, that's what I think. I
Privately owned business. He was like, nope, you got to do it.
and I think for myself, like if I was in that situation and I went to my manager and said, I'm not going to serve her drinks, I would still serve that table. But I'm like, if you want her to serve, if you're going to serve her drinks, if she's ordering this,
Right.
you give them to her.
The manager
Like
drops them off.
exactly,
The way
the
I-
manager. Like
You're
I
not
don't
gonna
want
pour
to
that
be.
drink.
Yes,
You're not gonna serve that
exactly.
drink.
I'm not going to do it, and that's. I mean, it comes down to
It's not even like she was drinking like a glass of red wine. Like she's drinking
Yeah.
scotch.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
Grey Goose.
Yeah.
Like
Abrasive alcohol.
liquor.
yeah.
Bananas, dude.
Yeah.
That chick, I'll never forget about that. Like as long as I live. Like
Yeah.
honestly. That's one
You
of
know
those
what?
things.
So we're gonna wrap it up with that. We're not just here to make you guys laugh, but I mean that is our goal, and
We try.
to have fun and talk about all the fun stuff that we have to go through, but also to educate, have people understand what we have to go through. And Jackie, that is a serious thing that we as servers, bartenders have to deal with.
And it
And
does
it's
vary
not
by
easy.
state,
It does
right?
vary by state. It varies by person to person and your morals and your values.
Right.
And it's
I don't think anybody would feel good about giving somebody 3 fingers of scotch. I don't know. To me, I would be embarrassed to go out to a bar and have somebody see me with a drink.
yeah.
I dressed
By
up as
the-
a pregnant lady
by
one
the
time
last-
at a bar, and it was not fun for me. I got
Yeah.
the dirtiest looks. People
Oh,
thought
yeah.
I was freaking pregnant. It was
Yeah.
a white trash birthday bash, and they thought I did it too well.
Yeah.
I did it too well.
Yeah, be
I
careful.
bet you did. I bet you did do it very well. But you know what? As far as educating the public on what bartenders and servers go through, you know, there's some serious shit about what we have to go through.
A lot of
and it's-
liabilities.
There's a lot of liabilities, and
gotta be smart.
you know, there's fine lines, and where do you draw the line, and what you are going to put up with, and what you're not going to put up with, and where your morals and your values stand, and
Right.
what you're gonna do in the end.
When
you
do
know, there's-
when do you cut somebody off? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Well, we're not allowed to cut people
There's-
off anymore, which I'm
What
actually
do you
kind of grateful
mean?
for.
Yeah.
Allow.
the managers have to do it.
Oh, well, okay. That
I've,
makes
I've
sense.
had to do it in the past, like a lot.
Yes, yeah.
But like, I guess that's a new thing. Like, I'm like, so because I don't want to have.
But
to do
then
this
again,
shit.
the
No,
managers
it's
hasn't
fucking
been
hard. That's
in their
hard
face.
to do.
No, but it's like.
But I guess he trusts your decision. It's like,
right,
hey, dude, we got to
oh,
get.
I've
You're
been-
right.
I'm
You're
doing
right.
it for so long.
That's
I'm like,
right.
dude, they're showing a lot of signs of intoxication.
Right.
Like,
And
I'm
he'll
not,
stand
I'm
behind
not
you.
here
right.
for it.
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
But it
it
is
might
his
already
position.
be too late.
Right.
Like, but it's got to stop.
And then
Yeah.
there's things you can do to not serve them so much. Like you could just not go to their table,
Right.
and just leave them
At
dry.
least for a while. Like you can take
Yeah,
tricks.
you
like you
can-
can do
yeah.
this, or I can
Chips
do
and salsa?
this.
You look like you need
yeah,
some chips and
like
salsa.
a
Would
couple
you like
times.
some more water?
You could start taking those
And that
extra
might
steps
work,
you don't
but-
normally want
This
to
might
take
be
and
dirty,
be like,
but
oh, I'm so busy.
I might make their drink light too.
Right,
So-
right.
Right.
There's
There's
a-
certain things.
Well,
There
I mean,
is.
if you
Yeah.
have different tricks, and then when you know, you got to step in with the manager. But I kind of like that because I don't like to get put in a situation,
No.
especially with a drunk guy that I don't know what's going to happen
Dude, I've had-
after I say no.
I've had people scream in my face.
Especially females. I
Yeah.
don't know. Oh, yeah. Like, you just let him handle that.
I'm
That's
like,
why he gets
Is
paid.
the number to 911 still 911? Because
Right.
I need to call
in
them.
a situation.
You need a ride home, and it's
Right.
gonna be in a squad car. Like you yelled at the wrong.
I've had to
bitch.
call. I called an Uber for a guy one time to take him to a
You
hotel
paid
room.
for that too, didn't
Yeah,
you?
I did.
You fucking.
I mean,
Aw.
That's how
I
new
paid
he is
for a
into the
guy-
industry, guys. Come on. We did
It
that.
was a nice guy. He was
Yes.
my only customer, like
We-
all freaking day.
We totally understand
Yeah.
why you did it.
I was
'cause
Amy's
you-
going right down the road. I was
you
like,
care,
it's
you know,
$5.
not gonna
your,
do it
your
forever.
customer.
You can't, right.
Well, no, because
Don't get attached.
you know what though,
Let 'em
but it
go.
is it's a very good acknowledgement for other people who are not in the industry or who just don't understand what we have to go through sometimes on a daily basis and deal with drunk people, and we're like, you know, you drink way too much, and I did that to you, so I'm gonna drive your ass home. I'm gonna
lose our
take
liquor
care of you.
license.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's so many
And another thing,
things.
you can't control anything that happens outside. You got a smoker. Nothing's
then
stopping them from
again-
going and taking a big old swig of Jim
Oh, right.
Beam.
Yeah, an episode
Exactly.
of Cops is
Yeah, yeah.
going
But then
on outside
again,
your restaurant.
That guy
Yeah.
that stopped, remember, though, this was before I even moved here, but he was on the wrong side of the highway, pulled up in Bernalillo, stopped at that gas station by the railroad tracks, right? Do y'all know?
Oh,
the first
he
exit
got off
at
the
Bernalillo.
airplane.
Near the
Right.
TNT.
Got off the airplane.
Yeah.
It was already drinking. Stopped at that gas station, bought another 6-pack, then got on the wrong way of the freeway. Now that gas station is not allowed to sell alcohol. They don't. They have not.
Oh, yeah, you
since.
can mess.
Yeah.
You can mess at
Wow.
business
Oh, yeah.
up very easily.
So you know, it's like
Yeah.
you want to get that shit out of
But like
your
I said,
hands.
though, like I've had a guest, right, where like he comes in, he's fine, has a big old beer, cool, has one shot, cool, goes outside, smokes a cigarette, comes back, one more beer, and he's like, "Brah, brah, brah," you know,
All right.
and it's like, and I know this cat, like, dude, he's taking shots in the parking lot.
I used to do that at the club.
how do
Like,
I-
I'm not stupid, right?
How,
I mean,
how am I gonna
control that.
control
you
that?
can't. So that's why it's
Sir,
good.
where
yeah.
are you coming from? Chili's. Oh, well, there goes my job and our liquor license for 4 days.
Right.
Like, there's so much
Exactly.
responsibility that's put on us.
There
And you were
is.
supposed
And
to
the
expect see
general
the
public-
signs at his first shot.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, he literally went out to have a cigarette,
Right. Well, then
and
they
I
can
served
look.
what I thought.
They look, and I'm like, I
Was
only
his-
served him 2
his
beers and a
third.
shot.
Yeah,
Right.
which
Yes.
was be his third, which is okay, but
He's been here for 4
after
hours.
that, now he's trash.
Right,
Like,
right.
you know, that's a matter of 15 minutes. That shit happened, and you're like, what? I can't control that. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I think that it's really important to acknowledge that the general public doesn't realize, and especially with this particular podcast, because we're mostly about fun and talking shift. But it's really important to educate and let people know that this is a real thing that we have to deal with
We're
as
moms,
servers and
we got
bartenders.
houses, we got
We
mortgages,
are
you know what I mean? Like,
psychiatrists. Like we are, you know, we
we wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
we do wear a lot of hats, and it's a real job, and
It's fun work,
Yeah.
though.
it is fun.
You
It
have
is
to
fun.
take care of people.
Yes, if you're
Literally
really into
in
it.
every sense.
Yes.
Every
yes.
sense.
Yeah. Hey, I want to thank you guys so much for coming out and joining us here at the Shift Shack.
Our
It's
pleasure.
been a really great talk, and I think it's really important that we get that message out to a lot of people about what our liability is. And
She's freaking out.
I know. That's my dog, if you can hear her, Miss Nella. I got to go take care of her. So we're going to say goodbye. Thank you, all you shift talkers. Give us your stories if you have anything to say about our podcast this evening. Give us a shout at shifttalkerspodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and on Podbean, where you can become a patron and support us to build our Shift Shack a little better than it is. and get us a little bit warmer, okay? Hey, thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Shawn.
It was fun.
Thank you, Desi. I love you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye, thanks.